What's going on, everybody? This is Kerry Wood with sportsandswag.com. This is the Sports and Swag podcast. I want to welcome you in, and this one we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. This game 7 with the Utah Jazz this afternoon. Man, what a crazy game that was. But it went down just about as how I thought it would go down, to be honest with you. Well, I didn't think the Jazz would get up 20 points. I didn't really see that coming. But, it's typical Clippers. The typical Clippers. I think that should be a hashtag on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, all of that. It just, I don't, this team is just, I don't know what to say. I don't have any answers anymore. I just don't get it. But it's not surprising. This is a team where when the pressure is on, they fold up. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And we look at Friday night's game there in Utah, game 6, that was a game where basically the pressure was on Utah. Utah probably, at least we thought at the time, needed to win that ball game. Well, it didn't turn out that way, did it? Didn't turn out that way. I can't say that no one thought that Utah would come into Staples Center today and win it, because I thought I did. This is the Clippers' MO. This is, there's the less pressure, the better they're going to play. They came out, they did what they had to do. Game 6 on Friday night in Utah. Game 7, all of the pressure in the world on them coming back to Staples Center. You see what happened. Utah played their game. They were able to slow the pace, which they've been able to do all, pretty much all series with no problem. And they got it done. The Clippers is just one of the strangest teams I think that I've ever seen, as long as I've been watching sports. Because you look at Chris Paul as a guy that can push the basketball. You've got guys around him that, they're not. This is not an old team. Of course Jamal Crawford is old, but J.J. Redick, those guys. These are not old guys. Blake Griffin. Luke Balmute. These aren't old cats. Paul Pierce is old, but would he even played if Blake Griffin were hurt? So, what is the issue? Why doesn't this team push the basketball more? One reason, I guess, today was, the defense. The defense was shoddy as usual. Utah got whatever they wanted, and that was with Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower, on the bench most of the game. He had 2 fouls there in the first quarter. He comes out second quarter, gets his third with about 10 minutes to go in the quarter, and we don't see him again until after halftime. Well, he comes back after halftime, he gets his 4th foul. We don't see him again until the 4th quarter. It didn't matter. They went up 20 with Rudy Gobert on the bench. Derek Favors had a very nice game, but Derek Favors is a nice player, but it's just not Rudy Gobert. He's not Rudy Gobert, and this Clippers team, still could not finish at home. It couldn't get the job done. I don't want to hear that Blake Griffin was hurt. I don't want to hear it, because I'm telling you, I really believe. I wish he wouldn't have gotten hurt, because I'm telling you right now, they would have lost this series. Point blank simple. They would have lost. They would have found a way to lose one of those games that they shouldn't have lost. Because look, game 1, they shouldn't have lost that one, right? Blake Griffin was there for that, or at least for the he was there. He was there. He was there game 2, and they barely won that game. So the Blake Griffin excuse isn't gonna fly. Now last year, when they had Blake Griffin and Chris Paul out and they went out early, okay, we'll give them a pass on that one. But this year, no. It's not gonna fly, man. So now that that's the case, now that they've another early exit, they're not gonna get near the Western Conference Finals again. They've never done it. What's the answer now? What do they have to do to right the ship? I mean, I wrote an article on sportsndswag.com just a week ago after they lost. Actually, it was right after the game that Blake Griffin got injured, and I pretty much put out there that I thought he needed to go. I thought that this is the guy that the Clippers need to rid themselves of. I mean, there's always something with him. He's always hurt at crucial times. Of course, we all know about the incident last year where he punched the staffer or whatever. Ends up not only getting suspended, but he hurts himself. So he's out like 40 games or whatever. I can't remember what it was. It's something crazy. And that ultimately hurts the basketball team. Let's just be real. I mean, you can't, no one plans on getting injured or anything like that. But, I mean, this is just going on year after year after year. And I just think the Clippers would be crazy to sign him back. However, is that enough? I mean, is it just Blake Griffin? I think we saw that in this series that it's not. I mean, Chris Paul, and it's interesting, we had a discussion about him on the 3 Point Controversy radio show yesterday. I mean, I wasn't exactly on there, but I was just a listener, and if you haven't checked his podcast out, his show out is phenomenal on Saturday mornings. Need to check it out. But we talked about, would you rather have the traditional point guard of the old days, like the Magic Johnson types that, the pass first point guard, which, pretty much Chris Paul would definitely be in that category. I think it depends on the team. Or would you like the shoot first point guard like a Russell Westbrook? I think it depends on the basketball team. And that's what that's pretty much the answer that I came up with. But, when you look at Chris Paul, there's no question he's that traditional pass first guy, but, he's that guy that's supposed to be the leader on the floor. He's supposed to be to get the team in their sets, get the half court offense rolling. But we all know that the Clippers they're at their weakest when they're in the half court. Unless they're running up and down the floor, this team is going to struggle offensively, and we saw it today. We saw it throughout this series with Utah getting their way, being able to play this game at a slower pace. Utah shooting the ball good enough where they didn't, the Clippers were having to take it out of the basket instead of, take it out of the basket instead of being able to rebound or miss and getting out on the run. So you just have to kind of sit there and think about this thing. I mean, as good as Chris Paul is, there's got to be something going on. There's something not clicking. Is it the people around him? Is it Blake Griffin, like I said? Is it the rest of the supporting cast? Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick. The wing has always been a weakness. Luke Balmute is not exactly the best small forward in the league, but he's not horrible. You got Blake Griffin. All season you've had Blake Griffin around him. You've had DeAndre Jordan on the inside. DeAndre Jordan had a strong game today, 24 points, 17 rebounds. He did all he could. So I'm just struggling with this basketball team. What is the answer? What is the solution? Is it Doc Rivers? I mean, I kind of never really wanted to, I don't know, I never really wanted to look at it that way, because I always thought that Doc Rivers was one of the better coaches in the league. I mean, when he was at Boston, after 2 straight trips to the finals, one, of course, they won it all. I'm thinking this guy's the number one. He's the second best coach in the league behind Greg Popovich. Now, I mean, his coaching leaves a lot to be desired. Let's just put it like that. I mean, is it because he has the split duties, the GM duties, and president or whatever, and then of course he's head coach as well? Is it that? I don't know. One thing's for certain, something's got to change with these Clippers. Something's got to change big time. I mean, personnel-wise, Steve Ballmer's got his work cut out. I mean, he's great. He's a great cheerleader for his team behind the basket there every night. I mean, you got to hand it to him for that. But this is going to be his biggest test. What is he going to do? I mean, do you keep Doc Rivers? Do you keep Chris Paul? Or do you try to maybe trade him? See what you can get. Do you trade Blake Griffin? I mean, I still think you trade Blake Griffin. I think that's part of the answer. I don't think that's the full solution. You would think that maybe trading him and keeping Chris Paul would be enough, and maybe going out and getting a nice guy to play on the wing, maybe through the draft, or I don't know any veterans. I'd have to look closely at it, but something's got to change, though, man. Something has to change there at Staples Center with the Clippers. Right now, even as much success as they have had, comparatively speaking, with this terrible franchise that they were, years ago, 15, 20 years ago, or whatever. It's still second fiddle to the Lakers in that town. I mean, this is huge. This is a huge time for the Clippers. If you're a Clipper fan, you want this organization to do all the right things, to make all the right moves. Or you have to question whether you'll ever be relevant in the city of Los Angeles, let alone in the rest of the NBA. I don't know. Is it Chris Paul? Is it Blake Griffin? Is it Doc Rivers? Is it all of the above? I don't know. Nonetheless, the Clippers are out and left picking up the pieces. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens. Again, this is Kerry Wood, sportsandswag.com, and then this is the Sports and Swag podcast, another edition, and I want to thank you for listening. I want you to please follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. Check out our Facebook page. Just search Sports and Swag. Pretty simple. And again, we're looking out for more content on these NBA playoffs. They got started with Boston today in the second round, beating the Washington Wizards. That should be a great series. I think it's going to go at least 6 or 7. And we got 2 more tomorrow. The Rockets and the San Antonio Spurs, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Toronto Raptors get their series going. Should be interesting. And we're gonna be right here to talk all about it. We're gonna have a lot more content, as I said in the past, coming out on the website. We're gonna do some NFL draft stuff that just ended yesterday. We're going to do some Major League Baseball. We're going to absolutely talk more about these NBA playoffs, man, as we get closer to the NBA Finals. Again, this is Kerry Wood. Hope you enjoyed it. Please join us again. I'm out.